Burnett from Erogenous Tones, and we do Eurorack modules and audio software. And today we're going to show you the 3 Eurorack modules that we've built recently. Mother's Little Helper is a utility module to use with the Mother-32. The purpose was I wanted to kind of have some faster ways of changing some of the parameters through MIDI that they've made available, and I also wanted to make it so that I could sequence the sequences with sequences. So just go through real quick. Up here at the top part of the Mother's Little Helper, you can set the assign setting that is coming out of the assign jack of the Mother-32, and you can use CV voltages to control that, so if you wanted to modulate that through something you've got set up. The second part of it is bank and pattern with the same thing. You could CV control these and be able to change the sequence that's currently playing back with another sequencer, so you can build up more complex songs. Over here you've got a toggle that allows you to change the sustain setting of the sequencer, so it gets really nice for changing the gate length on a song while it's playing. And then down here in the bottom we've got a little sample and hold circuit, because a lot of people wanted to add sample and hold to the Mother-32, which it doesn't have. Alright, so then over here we've got Gatestorm, which has been in development for 2 years. We're working on this with Steady State Fate, and we've collaborated to build this. Basically what we have here is pretty much a complex gate generator. We've got 4 what I call complex lanes, which allow you to set different steps being on and off, so you can get nice rhythmic patterns. And then the second set of 4 are basically just standard clocks, but you can also set a density function so that it allows you to have the clocks only come on maybe 25% of the time or 75% of the time. It gives you a little humanization to some of the feel. In addition to that, you have a logic section in here, and the logic allows you to merge together these signals in different ways to, just get some combinations of those, so you can really add those to your performance. We can switch over to here. This is the mod matrix, and the mod matrix allows you to take any of these CV inputs, which these are attenuators, and control any of the parameters of both the complex or the simple settings. So in addition to that, I have what I call the random matrix, which allows you to change all of the random settings relative to if you're going to trigger them. You don't want always to randomize every setting, so this allows you to pick which ones you want to randomize, and sometimes you want the time base to stay the same, but you'd like the steps to change. The nice thing about this is that I've also made it so that it has 8 presets per bank, and you can change these presets either on the interface or with a CV voltage in a gate. You can do it where a voltage represents changing to the specific patch you want, or you can incrementally step through them and it wraps around. Or if you happen to have some modules that communicate on the back bus, like the macro machine storage strip, you can actually use something like that to trigger which patch you want to have on as well. After that, we also have Levitate, which is a utility module I came up with. In its basic setting with the mix switches off, these are attenuators going straight through, or up to 2x gain. So if you're all the way over here, it's 2x. If you remove the input, it becomes a DC source. So if you want to use it almost like a macro knob to drive things, or if you just need DC for something in your setup. What I also use that for, if you see down here, there's an invert switch on 4 of the channels. You can invert envelopes or audio coming in, and you can mix them together. So if you switch this switch up, it becomes a 4-to-1 mixer here. So if you're mixing envelopes together, you can generate really complex envelopes. While it's actually mixing through, here I'm doing a submix of 4 channels coming from some drums into the mix. Down here at the bottom, I'm just using them as attenuators straight through. The nice thing is it's the same thing top and bottom, so you can have a 4-to-1 mixer down here as well, or if you turn off the top mixer, you could have an 8-to-1 mixer in a really small area. And that was the point of this, is to make it small, because in my live rig, I don't have a lot of room for a lot of modules, so I don't want to take up a whole bunch of room with mixers and attenuators. Now I can get 8 for each of these. All right, so what we have going on here is I'm just playing some presets off of this. I've got 4 drums coming out of these top 4 channels, which is kick, clap, hi-hat, and I'm using can never say this name right, but the Bacillus iteratus. from Noise Engineering to generate some cool drum sounds. And then the next 4 are actually generating accents. So I'm just using a gate into a pitch setting on this hex inverter mutant bass drum, and the accent setting on the hi-hat, which is giving it that kind of random flair that every once in a while you'll hear the kick go higher. The other outputs I'm using to clock the Mother-32 with a rhythmic clock, so that I'm changing what's coming out of that. And I'm also driving this E350 morphing terrarium to just generate some different stuff going on. And because all these are in patches, I'm able to change them in each of the patches so it changes up the sound. So, you know, here I'm just going to switch through a couple patches. So this way, if you're doing a live show and you really want to have some more flexibility on what your gates are doing, not just for drums either, but for running any of your other stuff that you're using, like envelope generation and stuff like that, this just gives you that ability to do that. All 3 modules, with Mother's Little Helper, the Gatestorm, and the Levitate, are now available. Gatestorm is actually in manufacturing. They've released a few to check out, but they will be in quantity in June. The other 2 are shipping. The Mother's Little Helper is going for $249. The Gatestorm for $599, and the Levitate for $179. You can find out more about each of the modules from the Erogenous Tones website, and you can pick them up from all the major Eurorack distributors.